Yeah, I didn't shave yet. All right, so tonight's game, Nashville played really well on what they did right off the bat. Before anybody says anything, I've already noticed comments on the last video. Um, so the opening face-off shows Kessler and Johansson, and they go at it and beak off at each other and stick each other. 13 seconds into that play, Johansson's off the ice. The advantage to playing at home is you get last change. You get your matchups. Nashville took advantage of that early, and Laviolette wisely got Johansson away from Kessler and got him up against Getzlaf. Much better matchup for Johansson. Getzlaf, and I know there's a lot of people who love the guy, but Getzlaf, in terms of mobility, is slow. He's a very good offensive player. I take nothing away from him that way, but he is slower than Kessler, and he can't do Kessler's job. So it definitely helped Nashville a little bit tonight that they were able to get that matchup and take it away from the Ducks. It's one of the few things you get with home ice advantage is that you get last change, and you get more say in who's out against who. Nashville played a good game. Anaheim scored first. Nashville didn't panic. And then going into the third, even though they're down by a goal, there was still no sense of panic. I kind of felt bad for Cody McLeod on the play where he takes the instigator penalty, and yet the hit that was thrown by Jared Boll was clean. It was a clean hit. But because it was on Zolnarek, yeah, we'll stick with that, Zolnarek. Zolnarchuk, no. Now I'm just butchering it. Because it was a hit on Harry, and he had just taken a hit not too long before, and he'd been sent to, Strange Street. McLeod comes in and makes the save, and he's protecting his teammate. And he gets the instigator, and rightfully so. It was definitely instigator worth. The one thing that I laughed at in the fight was that Boll was punching McLeod in the back of the helmet. He wasn't actually connecting with McLeod at all. He was just punching him in the back of the helmet. That has to hurt. That has to hurt a lot. So, and then Anaheim scores on the power play, and they showed right after Boll laughing in the penalty box. So, Boll gets to laugh. But again, and this is something I said before tonight's game, don't give a team anything that they can put on a bulletin board or anything they can rally around. And I am sure the footage of Boll laughing was showed to the other players in between the second and third period. If they didn't all see it before the end of the second period with that nice little screen that a coach has on the floor. And probably said something on the lines of, hey, he's having a good time. He thinks this is fun. Let's give him something else to laugh about. Let's win the game. So Nashville wins the game. They win it in regulation, 2-1. Again, it's so tight checking. It's so close. This was a chance for Anaheim to really take control of the series, and they failed. So now Anaheim goes into Game 4 in really desperate need of winning it. And they got away from a lot of the mind games and a lot of the stuff. It was still a very chippy game. It was still, as Yvonne kept saying, everybody was hugging. There was a lot of hugging going on in the game. These teams really hate each other, but they're equally playing dirty. I have to say, and I saw it on both sides, there were dirty plays both ways. There were cross checks didn't get called. There were high sticks, hooks, and slashes that weren't getting called. I'm just trying to figure out whether this is going to end with a crackdown from the NHL or if this is going to end with somebody getting really badly hurt. Or, I guess there's the third option, which is a line brawl breaks out. And it's been a long time since we had a line brawl, but these teams are angry enough at each other, and Ottawa and Pittsburgh are getting angry enough at each other for it too. I could see that breaking out. And the NHL doesn't really want that optic on their playoffs. This is the elite against the elite. At least they want to present it that way. So the NHL really doesn't want that. But for Nashville, the fun continues. They are now six wins away from being Stanley Cup champions. That's all it takes. 6 more wins, they're the Stanley Cup champs. But Anaheim is 7 wins away from being Stanley Cup champs. And both Pittsburgh and the Ottawa Senators are 7 wins away from being Stanley Cup champs. And that's the fun of the whole thing, on top of everything else that goes along with it. I think Forsberg's developing quite a chippy little game of his own. But he's a clutch player. So that grit and determination is making him a better playoff performer. Pekka Rinne, huge bounce back game. And John Gibson, I thought, had a good game too. I don't know what Nashville thinks they're shooting at up high, but they're missing a lot of shots high. And I'm not sure what they outshot Anaheim 40-20 in this game. Like, it wasn't even close on the shot clock. But they missed some shots high too, and I think they must think they see a weakness up over Gibson's shoulders. I really think as long as they just keep taking shots on him, I think Gibson wears down during almost any game. I like John Gibson. I think John Gibson's a good goaltender. I don't think he's a great goaltender yet. I definitely think in net, Rinne is a much better goaltender than Gibson. And a lot of that comes with age and experience. Matt Murray aside, age and experience matter for goaltending. I think part of what's making Pekka Rinne a damn good goaltender in these playoffs is he understands how rarely this will come along. And he's playing his damnedest to make sure that they go as far as they can. Gibson, it's his first playoffs as a genuine, bona fide, unchallenged starter. I know Bernier had a good end to the season, but let's be honest here. This is Gibson's ship. I can't see a circumstance where Bernier is going to commit to start a game unless Gibson gets hurt. But we'll see what happens. Tonight's win means that Nashville just has to win 2 out of the next 4. And it means that Anaheim has to win 3 out of the next 4. That's a tough call. Nashville came in tonight. I believe they showed they had 9 straight home wins. So that's 10 now. That's not nothing. That's an impressive total. And that spans more than just this postseason. That goes into the last one as well. As long as they're able to win games on the road, they'll end every series early. And when you're not losing anything at home, you don't need to worry about Game 7 because you're likely going to win one on the road, and then all you have to do is make sure you don't lose at home. So, as long as they hold serve in Game 4, Anaheim's in trouble, deep trouble. And Anaheim is all in. Anaheim, much like Washington was in the East, Anaheim is all in. They really need to win the Cup this year, or they're likely going to get further away next year, not closer to it. So, anyways, you guys can let me know how I'm right or wrong on this one. I'm wearing Arizona because, again, I'm just staying out of this crap for the rest of the playoffs. I am not having anything to do with... And notice, too, that this is working. I'm remembering Arizona and not saying Phoenix. So, AZ on my shoulder. Yeah, Arizona. All right, I won't forget again. I swear it's age, too. But anyways, you guys can let me know what you think. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. And these playoffs have been a hell of a lot of fun. For a 2-1 game, that game was exciting tonight. That was a fantastic hockey game. And both goalies played really, really well. And again, I don't want Anaheim fans to come down on me for what I said about Gibson. It's just it's a game of inches, and it just feels to me like Rinne is just a little bit better than Gibson. And that's just one man's opinion, just me by myself. Speaking of which, thehockeyguy.ca will be up and running soon. I registered it tonight. The domain isn't functioning yet, so that may just be one of those while it's setting up with the DNS servers thing. I registered it all through GoDaddy. I'm setting up WordPress as well, so I can do blogs and stuff. I plan to set up a fully fledged website, and Hockey Guy Gear's on the way. So watch for that. And I also want to throw out there to a non-subscriber who sent me a letter, very nice letter, and a check. Thank you, Dorothy. Thank you very much. It is nice to know that there are fans out there and that they appreciate the work I did, and I'm glad I helped you get through winter. These stories, guys, mean a lot to me, and thank you very much. It definitely makes it easier for me to do this. Coming out of a flu, which I have unwittingly passed on to my fiance, and I really wish I hadn't, but she's looking like I did yesterday. So yeah, I don't feel great about that. All right, I'll talk to you guys again tomorrow. And tomorrow, of course, we got Ottawa and Pittsburgh. Pure hatred from here on in the playoffs, and I couldn't be happier about it. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you all again tomorrow.